Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the summer because starting today in Chicago, it's pretty much football season. It's the official start of Big Ten football season here in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days. Indiana went today, which is Tuesday, here at McCormick Place, and we got to spend a ton of time with Kevin Wilson, Marcus Oliver, Demetric Camille, and of course Dan Feeney, Indiana's All-American right guard. Spent some time talking with him about just a huge array of things. We've had coverage on the site, and we'll continue to have more content up as the weekend goes along. But wanted to recap a few things via video. Just a few little news notes, things that were kind of confirmed by Kevin Wilson, rumors that have been going around. Camion Patrick, the biggest news probably. Camion Patrick is way ahead of schedule for his ACL recovery from ACL surgery that he had in mid-April. Indiana doctors, training staff actually projected him to. They've kind of targeted October 1st, which is the Big Ten opener against Michigan State, as a possible date for Patrick to return. Kevin Wilson was saying that yeah, maybe he'll be healthy by that point, but he's going to need more time to kind of get into the flow of the offense and run more confidently, things like that. Patrick probably projects as a running back, but he could play just about anything, running back, receiver, H-back kind of thing. Kickoff returner, Kevin Wilson hinted at as well. So it looks like Indiana will have Camion Patrick at least at some point during the season for maybe a couple more games than they previously thought. Indiana will not have Brandon Drayton, who is a Florida defensive back who signed with Indiana this past February. He was not admitted to IU, had some issues with the admission process, and he will not be attending Indiana. He's headed elsewhere probably. Looks like maybe Marshall, but we haven't been able to confirm anything like that. The last thing, this was actually kind of a topic on the board this week. Clyde Newton, who has been a pretty important piece of Indiana's defense for the past 3 years at linebacker. He actually asked Kevin Wilson during this offseason if he could move to running back, and it looks like they're at least going to try it out. He's going to start preseason camp as a running back. And yeah, Indiana's very deep at running back. You know, they have Redding, they have Mike Majette, Devontae Williams, and then they're bringing in a couple freshmen, Cole Guest, Keontae Enos, and then if Camion Patrick comes back. So they have plenty of options there, but they don't exactly have a big-bodied, physical guy who can get short yardage, who can come in what Wilson was calling 4-minute drill kind of thing, where you're just kind of grounding out yards and grinding out yards and eating up clock. So that'll be interesting to monitor. He could end up playing on both sides of the ball, simultaneously, kind of, or at least during the same game, obviously, where he could play a little bit of linebacker, play a little bit of running back, and not really overextend himself. So that's kind of interesting. In a larger sense, some kind of larger themes from today, Indiana just every time that they've come here under Kevin Wilson the past 5 years, they're a little bit more confident every time. They're a little bit, they come here with a little bit more swagger, a little bit more kind of confidence and easygoingness, I guess, if you will. Kevin Wilson was as open as I've ever seen him in this kind of setting. He was very frank. He was very honest. He was answering questions. He was providing some kind of insight, and so he was very open, very very interesting and engaging today. So I think that's just from obviously his job security, signed the extension in the offseason, and there's just a confidence around this team that they went to a bowl game last year and they feel like they can do it again this year. Other than that, the two big storylines that people were asking about, obviously the quarterbacks. They mentioned, Wilson and the players mentioned Richard Lego and Xander Diamont above anyone else. But Danny Cameron certainly sounds like he's going to be in the mix a little bit. Kevin Wilson was saying that he expects Indiana to have multiple quarterbacks ready to go because in the past few years, because of injuries, because of poor production, things like that, they've had to use 2 or 3 quarterbacks every year. So expect to see more than just Richard Lego or Xander Diamont. Kevin Wilson was also saying that he really likes Peyton Ramsey, who's an incoming freshman quarterback, but he doesn't like playing quarterbacks as freshmen just wants him to develop a little bit and get into the offense or anything like that. And I think it's just kind of a last resort to play freshmen. Obviously, he played Trey Roberson when Roberson was a freshman and Nate Sudfeld when he was a freshman, and Xander Diamont when he was a freshman. So, but all those were kind of in emergency situations where they didn't really have any other viable quarterbacks. In Wilson's first year when Roberson was a freshman, Roberson broke his leg when Sudfeld was a freshman, and then Sudfeld got hurt, separated his shoulder when Diamont was a freshman. So they've been kind of forced to do this. So who knows? We could see 3 or 4 quarterbacks for Indiana this season over the course of the year. The other big storyline was Tom Allen and the defense, and just kind of, this is Indiana's 3rd defensive coordinator under Wilson, and basically people were asking, how is this guy going to be any different? How are things going to get better? Because they just haven't over the past few years. And it's hard to really point at anything if you're Indiana at this point, because they haven't played anybody. They've hardly practiced under Tom Allen with a new 4-2-5 defense and everything like that. But Wilson was really building them up and really saying that more than just the 4-2-5 defense, the new scheme, he was really going after Tom Allen for a culture change, for an attitude adjustment, for just the way that he manages things. So that was kind of interesting. Wilson said a couple times today, he liked using this little anecdote that he reached out to Tom Allen and wanted him in the loop even before he knew what his scheme was. He didn't care at all about alignments and scheme and personnel and things like that. He just wanted somebody in the program to motivate and to challenge a lot of these defensive players, because that's maybe what's been missing these past few years, as Indiana's really struggled to maintain any kind of consistency on defense. But those were kind of the main themes today. There's a ton of just little knickknacks and little things, little updates. Obviously, keep checking the site for that. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. It's been a long day, hence the kind of frazzled look. But thanks for watching, and really looking forward to this year. Before you know it, football season, practice is only a week away, a little over a week away, and before you know it, Indiana's going to be facing Florida International in Miami to start the season. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon, and have a good rest of your week and weekend.